Welcome back. How you been, Nathan?
Good man. I'm very excited for this show.
Yeah, you feeling good? It's a Friday night. I've just come back from work. Welcome to episode 4 of 9 Plus Wine. This is Nick and Nathan's show.
Nick and Nathan's show. Let's not call that. It's called 9 Plus Wine. And while we're in the start, I want to talk about how much I didn't prepare for last episode. And it was very obvious. I don't know if you've watched it yet. I haven't even watched it yet. But basically, after the first episode, like I said, I analysed the whole thing. I spent the whole week thinking about it. What can I do better? Episode 2 was sick. And then I just didn't think about episode 3 at all. Nick did, as you can tell if you watched. He had some very good topics to think about. And before we started, I was like, you know what? I'll just come up with something.
Just do a standard Nathan.
And I didn't.
Yeah. What do you got planned this weekend?
Yeah, that was good. That was really good. But a few changes. Something I thought would be fun would be to see if we can tell a difference between pouring wine straight out of the bottle and pouring wine through an aerator into a decanter. So we're going to play a little game that is going to be a new ritual called One Sip. If you don't know the rules, you're not going to get to know the rules. You've got to work it out. So, do you want to talk about this wine, Nick? Throw you in the deep.
Yeah, so I'll try and read it. We have a Costas del Priorat Petite Passares 2016 edition. So I've heard that was a good year. Producio Limitada Priorat. So from what I know, the grape is the Priorat. Is it, Nathan, in actual fact?
No. Sorry, I totally
Come on, lay it out.
I threw Nick under the bus there. That was really rude. I actually tried to research this wine about an hour ago. And, as he said, Costas del Priorat Petite Passares 2016 Producio Limitada Priorat. So, when I looked it up...
You just repeated the same thing.
Yeah, I know. Sorry, I needed context. When I looked it up, I was like, you know what? Priorat down the bottom, surely that's the wine, that's the grape. Looked it up. Turns out that's actually a location in France. No, Spain. Spain, an hour and a half south of Barcelona. Apparently, wouldn't know. Never been there. And then when I looked at the above it, where also can be the grape, it says Producio Limitada. And I was reading that and I was like, that sounds like limited production. So I don't fucking know what grape it is. That's,
very, very exotic.
That's the point. So let's have a try. I did watch someone drink this brand on YouTube like an hour ago.
Who was he?
Gary Vee, of course. Okay. Funnily enough, 10 years ago. So it wasn't 2016. Need a fucking coaster.
Started off well.
Beautiful.
Mate. Started off well.
All right. So give it a swirl.
I can't. Yeah.
Any notes on colour? That's a fucking big glass.
Yeah, it's a goblet.
Sniffy, sniff, sniff.
One sip, everyone knows the rule.
Oh, hold on. Don't drink. Before we go into that, I forgot.
Are you kidding me?
We have the tasting notes of this exact wine because we don't know what the fuck things taste like. And honestly, I'm going to read this and I'm not going to be able to taste it. But for everyone listening, this might be entertaining. Intense red with purple notes. It has a very fresh aroma and full of sensations of flower. This is transcribed from Spanish. Full of sensations of flowers and fruits that are confirmed in the mouth. It is cheerful and alive and expresses citrus flavors and memories of summer bone fruit, such as peach and apricot.
You getting toey over this?
In the end, it seems so vibrant and pleasant. It makes us want to drink more. So, let's have a smell. Can you smell any citrus or peach or bone fruit? I can't. And to that, I actually have never been able to smell, so that's probably why I can't taste wine very well. My nose is horrendous. I have the worst nose.
Oh, fuck, that tastes good.
But
that's solid. Holy shit, that is good wine.
It's a good red.
Damn.
Notes on price. I don't know what I paid.
Neither
But-
do I.
The research I did
Holy
put it
shit.
somewhere between $30 and $40.
Mate, I pay $80 for that.
I was expecting to be like $80.
That's good
but it's
shit.
not. It is good, man. So
Look, out of what are we doing it off? What do you reckon?
we out of 5 or out of 10? I reckon 10. That's so much more fun.
Yeah, okay. Well, I mean, that's a strong wine to start with. That's almost like a benchmarker.
Yeah, that's hard to beat. From the wines I've tasted,
That's
I
an 8-2.
don't want to go straight off the bat 9.
8-2. 8-2.
I'm going to say 8-7.
8-7? Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
8-7.
Okay. You're not leaving much room for anything better.
You know what? Fuck it, because no one's going to go back and look anyway. All right, Nick's going to take the next part of the podcast because he has a topic that is good to talk about.
Yeah, so doing some thinking. Thought about, some of the shit I always think about, and I overanalyze conversations a lot. It's just what I do. I overthink things. And you want to finish that before we get going? You realise you're 23 years old. I'm sorry. Okay. All right.
Continue, please.
Okay. So one thing I always think of is two-way conversation. And people who know me know I harp on a fuck ton about two-way conversation. And all I wanted to touch on is I guarantee there is one person watching this right now that has a mate that all they do is talk about themselves for 15 minutes. Yada, yada, yada. My job this, my girlfriend this, my dad this, my dog this. Yeah, okay, that's great. And you're engaged and you give a shit about them. And then it comes to your turn. And you start talking to them about what you're up to and you're excited because you haven't told anyone. And all of a sudden you see their eyes look the other way. It's like, fuck's this guy doing?
Rude.
It's obvious with the body language, they just don't give a shit. Where I'm getting at with this is I have now found a fantastic group of mates that, one, I can call out if they do that. And two, they genuinely are interested in what I have to say or what I have to add to the conversation. I know that I've called Nathan out on it before, and I would hope that he would call me out on it too if I did it.
Yeah, you don't do it, but you're pretty good.
Well, Luke...
I would if you were to do it.
Everyone does it. Luke's called me out. My brother Luke has called me out on it before, which is fine. I knew that I was doing it, and I took ownership for that. But I just wanted to see what you had on that. Like, I mean, I think it's a problem that a lot of people probably have, but they just don't choose to say anything.
I did it before the episode with you, and you called me out. Well, kind of. You know how you're like, yeah, is it?
Yeah.
And I need to explain because sometimes I just don't care, but I was thinking about, I wish I said that before. You were talking about money. It was a conversation.
Yeah, the letter of credit.
Yeah, you're talking about that, and I was thinking about the big dogs at work came in and talked about the debt we're in and laying people off. And I was thinking about that conversation, and I wanted to tell you about it, and I'll tell you about it later. But that's why I zoned out, because I fucking mentally cannot do two things at once. But heaps of people, as you said, will listen to you talk about something, and then as soon as you start talking, they just zone out. And you don't know whether they just don't give a fuck or if they're taking in what you're saying and thinking about other things. So call them out every time. Ask them, like, what the fuck's going on. I think that's fun. But yeah, to your point, it was just interesting that it happened right now, before we knew we were going to talk about this conversation. So yeah, what else do you think that could be going on? Do you think it's always a bit of fucking not caring or self-absorption or other things?
It's just me being judgmental, to be honest. Like, I'm calling someone out based on the body language I'm seeing. If I see someone looking the other way when I'm having a direct conversation with them, I'll take that as, okay, they're not interested. Maybe that's how they act. Maybe they can't look someone in the eye when they're listening to someone talk. I don't know. I just immediately assume, okay, well, you're not interested. That's fine.
It depends, yeah.
I guess what frustrates me and would frustrate a lot of people is time's scarce. Okay, I don't want to spend 15 minutes hearing about your fucking dog if I know that as soon as it comes time to talk about anything other than your dog, you're no longer interested. Yeah. Like, how the fuck is that a good use of anyone's time? Yeah. You just wanted to get off your chest what you probably tell 15 other people.
Yeah, well, it's one way.
Yeah, and then get nothing out of it. Like, what benefit are you getting out of that?
And all you can do, and I think I did it a while ago, not so much in that sense, but you realize that that's fine. Like, if someone doesn't want to pay attention, but if that's like your closest mates, that's just going to eventually just eat away at you. You're going to end up, like, there's people at work, if they're talking and I start talking, they don't give a fuck. I'm like, oh, well, see ya. Don't care.
Yep.
But if you did it all the time, I'd be like, oh, this isn't really a two-way fucking relationship.
How is that a friendship?
It's not.
Like, and imagine being that person that, feels like the one who's always the listener or no one gives a shit about it. You build resentment for those people. And it's not the person's fault. In all honesty, it's not. They just need to be told, just, hey, one time, hey, do you reckon you could actually pay attention to what I have to say instead of getting off what you want to say and they're just not giving a shit? Honestly, just say it directly to them because, in my opinion, it works.
Yeah.
If they have a problem with that, well, then they're not worth your time.
They probably don't even realise they're doing it.
Exactly. Until you call them out on it, they probably don't know what they're doing.
You don't know what you don't know. That's one of my favourite sayings. Yeah.
Nice.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Love that.
But yeah, I would just, if any of you guys have been in that situation, that's one thing I'd do. I mean, it's fantastic. I caught up with my schoolmates a couple of hours ago and, we've all come a long way. It's fantastic just to catch up with them, bounce off what each other are doing. Obviously, I don't see them as much as I'd want to, and that's my fault. But it's just a flowing conversation. I don't know if it comes with age or something like that, but it's just something I've noticed. You see, sorry, I'm flowing on a lot with this, but I guarantee your parents have a couple that they hang out with that they have a problem with about that. Or maybe they don't.
Well, are you saying like your parents have talked to you about someone that does it?
Yeah, I've said, hey, mum, dad, how was dinner? It's like, oh, well, all we heard about was their school award they got and heard about that for 30 minutes. Like, okay, that's great, but did you get anything else out of that conversation?
Yeah.
No, you just...
Well, to your point, my parents don't really talk about that shit. My parents don't go to that sort of stuff. Dad goes to talk once a week. Mum might go out fortnightly at best with their friends. I don't know. They just don't. Wish they did. There you go, mum, dad, if you're watching. Go out more. Have fun. As they've just been away for a week. But no, it's a good point. It's a good point. My parents don't talk about it. But
I think
see it everywhere.
I'm sure you notice it more now since...
I do. Since you've started talking about it, it's something I look at a bit more. Like this goes back 4 years when I originally talked to you about self-awareness and you were like, look, when you're drunk, all of your traits that are normally good just go out the window. And I was just like, stab. And I was like, take that on board. Fuck, take it, see it how it is. Is there truth to it? Is there not? What are you going to do about it?
May not be truth to it. I may be talking out my ass.
No, but there was.
But you looked inside rather than just being like, nah, you're wrong.
Yeah, well, I didn't react like, fuck off.
Yeah.
All right, one of our valued listeners actually called both of us this week. Did he call you?
Yeah, he did.
He did.
Yeah.
Called us and was like, boys, love it. Love your podcast. It's fucking that good. Thank you. Listen to the whole thing. And he wanted us to talk about stressful situations. So we're going to both touch on that. I'll go first. If I think back over maybe the last 6 years, the most notable stressful situation, actually there's two. The first one, going back the furthest, was when I was probably a second year as an apprentice. And my stress got that bad that I had to go get a plate for my teeth because I would grind my teeth while I slept. And actually, it's too long ago for me to remember how I kind of got out of that. I think I just got more comfortable in the workplace, realized that I was actually doing okay where I was. Probably a few things that happened that made me realize, like, you're actually a fucking pretty good tradesman, not a shit dog. Definitely not what I'd normally say. But that is the first, so I can't really speak to how I got over that. But the second one still comes back to probably the cider, definitely in business, any business, it's stressful. Every time you go into business, like almost every day, there's a new hurdle that you have to jump over. And dealing with stress just becomes second nature. I think anyone that's been in the workforce for some amount of time has some level to deal with stress. And some better than others. I think nowadays, whenever I get stressed, I try and compare it to when I was working night shift and cider was just going off. Like, just being able to deal with that, I was like, well, how am I going to stress over little shit? Like, I don't know, what's something fucking... I can't even think of something that I've been stressed about in the last 2 weeks. But it's just a lot easier to deal with once you focus on... Once you have perspective to think about another thing. Like, if you can relate to even other people's experiences, you probably know someone that's had a really, really shit time. And if you can be like, well, how the fuck am I going to stress about this when that person's been through that?
Yeah. It's hard at the time, but
It's super hard.
you have a very good skill at not showing how you're actually feeling. Like, you hide shit very well.
So good.
And like we spoke about, when your cans were exploding, you know, you took it. When the cans were exploding, it seemed like you had it all under control from the outside looking in. When in reality, you were probably shit scared, you know?
Oh, it was fucked. It was not fun at all. It's funny how things work out. It wasn't long before I was crying on your bed, bruz. That was not related directly to that, but indirectly, definitely.
There was a lot of other things leading up to it, but I think you'd look at it now and you'd be like, I got to this point, you know, this is what I dealt with. Anything that comes close to that's nothing compared to what I dealt with. So now, you know, that shit, like everything else you're going through, well, was it as bad as when all the cans exploded and people's faces were getting hit with an exploding carbonated beverage? No, it's probably not.
That's my take on stress. I think it's I think an unlock is to put it into perspective.
Which is fucking hard to do at the time.
Super hard. Still struggle with it. But that's really my answer.
And the other part is, you're hard on yourself. I'm hard on myself.
Everyone is.
It's the way it is. And look, people, you could be fucking stacking shelves at a Coles and be stressed about that. Like, it's not like because Nathan was running a business, he's only allowed to be stressed. Like, it could be anything you're doing, you could be stressed about. No, and I know you're not. I'm just trying to say, okay, not everyone watching this probably has a business, but the reality is anything you're doing could be stressful. It depends how much ownership you take of that. Stressful time for me, I was in, I think, my final year of uni. I failed a mid-semester exam. So obviously what's going through my head is, if I fail this course, I now have to stay here for another 6 months, spend another $6,000 or however much it is, and extend my course, which means I can't go travel, I can't spend more time working, I can't do this, I can't do that. In reality, I ended up passing the final exam and I was fine. But at that time, you're losing sleep, your work gets put off, your performance gets put off, you're a different person because that one thing that's in your mind is just controlling you. And I struggle with that. Like, if I have something bad going on, you saw me when I worked for my grad program. I was a different person because that one thing was just controlling me and making me feel like shit.
How did you deal with that?
When I was stressed at uni and I was working, resilience is really important and sticking to it. And
I feel like you had a lot more going on when you were managing Maccas and at uni than when you were in Coles.
Yeah, exactly. It's weird that happened. But
were you more stressed at Coles because you just didn't like it? Or
I was more stressed because I knew I wasn't me. Like, I didn't feel like me.
Yeah, trying to be someone else is probably really hard.
Yeah, like, do you think I did a grad program to stack shelves for 10 hours a day? Why the fuck would I sign up to that? Like,
It goes way bigger than that.
I'm so like that. I don't know if anyone saw the news article about Coles. Okay, I'm not saying that was my grad program. I could have worked for any other retailer, but it is so satisfying to see them thrown in the mud for something that happens. It is the reality of what happened. I'm sorry to go off stream here with.
No, it's not off stream, bros.
You are stacking shelves for people to pick up a box of cereal. The store managers do not get to see their kids. They go home when their kids are asleep. They get up and they go to work before their kids get up to go and run a supermarket. How the fuck does that work? Like, it is not saving lives. You are working in a supermarket. You should be able to have a quality work-life balance, which is just gobsmacking that they don't. So hopefully something changes with what's going on there.
Well, for context to everyone that's watching, Coles got caught out basically $20 million underpaying that program.
Very under. It's way under.
And that's probably not even the whole lot, I would assume. Like, yeah. But that's fucked. Yeah, don't underpay your employees. That's a good start.
I've not touched on the stress piece. All I'm getting at is be resilient. Look for the positives. I mean, talk to your friends. Open up about it. Don't act like everything's all good. It is totally fine to say everything's not okay, which, I mean, is a cliche and I've heard that 1,000 times. But the reality is, if I went and spoke to Nathan about it, he'd at least give me context or give me an ego rub or something that would at least put me on a bit more of a high.
You did. You came to me, 1 month into your grad program? We sat down at our coffee and you were like, I fucking hate it. And I was like, quit.
Yeah.
Straight up. There wasn't much of a conversation. It was like, fuck your program. Yeah. If it's not what you want to do.
That was interesting, but because a lot of people have different takes on it. You know, other people are like, well, it'll look bad on your resume, which I also agree with. You know, it does look bad on your resume.
I disagree. I didn't even look at Grace's fucking resume. But anyway, we have been told to wrap up. Your turn to wrap up. You started, you end it.
I will rant more about that experience another day.
Can you taste any difference from the decanting, the aerating?
I feel like a bit more of a knob.
We can't take it seriously. I can taste a bit different.
Look, it's good wine. I could easily get pissed on that wine. That's good. It's delicious. To wrap up, again, feedback's good. If you're making it to the end of the episode, I appreciate the attention span.
Yeah, love it.
If you actually called someone out for being self-absorbed, that would be fantastic to understand their reaction. I love that shit. That would actually be really satisfying if someone called out a mate because they watched this.
Let us know. That would fucking get me off. And to follow up, one person actually did what I asked and tried to conversate with people. Very impressed. Very, very impressed.
You gonna name drop?
No, not going to do that.
Did they get something out of it?
Yeah, they said it was good.
Fucking oath.
I said, how'd you go? They said, yeah, it was actually really good. So you're going to ask people to do what this week?
I've already told you guys what I'm going to ask you to do. Call out one mate who talks about themselves way too fucking much. And I guarantee the 3 other mates that are sitting there are going to be like, you know what? Yeah, fuck you.
If you don't have that small group of friends where you do something each week, I would highly recommend doing that. It's a good breakup for the week for me. I need it. I love it. This is part of it. And yeah, fuck.
Shit.
That's episode 4. Love it. Thanks.
Cheers, guys.